The big red monster is back for a rematch. We're going toe-to-toe with the devil's favorite demon. We watched See No Evil 2. We watch it so you don't have to. So you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad and scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad and scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Hey, what's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me today on this holiest of very special days is my co-host, Mr. Aaron Southworth. Aaron, how are you doing on this fine day today?
It's a beautiful day today.
It is not just beautiful outside, but it is a very special day. It's a holiday, if you will. It is a day for friends and family to come together, for people to sit around and enjoy each other's company, to share a beer, to share some good times, and then hit each other over the head with a steel chair. Because it is WrestleMania Day today. So a very happy WrestleMania Day to you, Aaron.
Well, thank you. WrestleMania weekend is upon us. Marshall, as you can probably tell, is a huge wrestling dork. Loves wrestling with a passion.
It is, which is why we chose to do See No Evil 2.
See No Evil 2.
See No Evil 2. Like last year on WrestleMania weekend, we did See No Evil 1. Before that, we did Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies.
That was a fun one.
I think this might be the end of the line for wrestling-themed horror movies.
There's way more wrestling-themed horror movies. There's Lucha Gore.
Thank you. There was a Lucha one.
Monster Brawl.
Okay.
I mean, there's other wrestling-themed horror movies, but let's do honor to Kane. The pro wrestler, the big red machine, devil's favorite son.
Yes, indeed. But before we get on to the main event, if you will, we have some undercard opening match business to attend to. First being our Horrible Horror March Movie Madness Tournament of Awfulness is winding down. We've just concluded the final fucked up four. Which
baby.
means we're going to reveal the results to find out which two shit-tastic movies will be fighting out head-to-head for champion of this year's tournament and be crowned the worst of this past year.
All right, baby, lay it on me.
All right, so on the Haddonfield side, it came down to Death House versus Kissing Darkness. And now this one scared me because Kissing Darkness came roaring into this with a head of steam.
Yeah.
Just bulldozing its way through. So did Death House, by the way. It bulldozed pretty much.
Death House has been that's your pick.
That's my pick. Death House is my pick to win it all.
I'm completely busted. I'm out. I said the 13th Friday. Not happening. But that's okay.
But in just a slaughterhouse, like just brutality of the worst kind.
By force of will alone.
If last man standing, fall counts anywhere, bloodbath of a match. Death House destroys Kissing Darkness to move on to the finals.
Did you say Kissing Darkness?
I think I had a little Dusty Rhodes Kissing Darkness.
A little Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Kissing Darkness.
Yeah, so we knew we would catch up. I heard that. I was like, ooh, that's never happened before. We'll chalk up to Dusty. It's my Dusty Rhodes for the day. My Dusty Rhodes for the day. So Death House is moving on. My bracket is still sort of alive. My pick is going to the finals. Now moving on to the Crystal Lake side, it came down to Dark Walker versus the Black Room. Now these two were both surprises to us. We didn't think either one of these would make it this far.
I didn't think either one would make it this far.
Especially Black Room. A Dark Walker, I think I had making it this far, but not.
I had Dark Walker going into the Elite 8. Or Epically Awful 8, pardon me.
The Epically Awful. Yeah, that's where I had it too. I had it in the Epically Awful 8, but not the fucked up 4. So anyway, it comes down to, again, another bludgeoning bloodbath and a clean sweep of the votes of our listeners and the votes on Instagram. Dark Walker is moving on to the finals. Who would have thought that one came through? Not me at all. So there you have it, guys. Our finals are set. So the voting will start this week. Probably by the time you are listening to this, you can start voting on our finals. The final match is Death House versus Darkwalker. One shall stand, one shall fall, one will be crowned the worst of the worst. And I'm so pumped about this matchup.
I can tell.
Oh god, it's gonna be good. It should be great. Like I said, I have a chance of picking a winner here. My guy's going.
I think you're gonna get it.
I hope so. I think it'd be the first time I've actually picked the winner. I've come close a few times, but I've always been proven wrong by the listeners. So there's that. That's moving on. The last thing that we were talking about before we get to the movie itself is, like I said, it is WrestleMania weekend, and just like the WWE, every WrestleMania weekend includes the
Hall of Fame
induction of the newest class of the Hall of Fame. So we too will induct our newest class to the Horrible Horror Hall of Fame, and I'm excited to induct these fine candidates this year in our actresses class section of the Hall of Fame. We are inducting Julin this year. She was in such fine features as Sweatshop way back on episode 4, Spirit Camp, and Knucklebones, which was actually one of our preferred movies. We actually really liked that one. But she, crowning achievement. She's a trifecta winner, and Spirit Camp and Sweatshop have always, and even Knucklebones, all have a pretty strong place in our memories on this show. Like those were ones we also had very strong feelings about. Joining her is another female that has graced the airwaves of Horrible Horror many times. Miss Debbie Rochon. She's in such fine films as Killer Rack, Santa Claus. She was also in Death House and many other movies.
I loved her in Killer Rack.
Killer Rack, yes.
She was Dr. Kate Thulu.
Kate Thulu, yes, she was.
She was fucking fantastic.
She was, and that was one of her best roles that we've seen her in.
She crushed it. She was so weird and quirky, and bizarre. Knocked it out of the park.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but like I said, Death House, we didn't even get to see her. She was covered up with a mask.
She was leather lace.
Leather lace. And then in Santa Claus, it was just awful. Chris Samples can test that one.
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, you're lucky you haven't.
Watched it.
Moving on to our director-producer category, we were inducting Mr. Danny Draven this year for his roles as a producer and a director on fine films that we did. Killer Eye, Halloween Haunt, one of our all-time favorites. Also a producer on Evil Bong. He was a producer and director on Crips.
Yeah.
And he also directed this year's finalist, Darkwalker. So he is more than adequate, more than deserving of being in our Hall of Fame. And lastly, under our production company, as a whole, we are going to induct Brain Damage Films into this year's class.
Brain Damage.
They've produced and released such fine movies as Alice in Murderland, which was also a previous one. They won our very first winner. Bachelor Party in the Bungalow of the Damned. And not just one, but two. They produced two of our worst movies.
That's right.
Worst of the worst. And Tara Baxter U as well.
Baxter U.
So there is nobody more deserving to go into our Hall of Fame than Brain Damage Film. So congratulations to our class of 2019, 2020, or 2018, 2019. You've all deserved it for all your accomplishments, if you will, in the world of horror. Your plaques are in the mail. All right, that wrapped up. Let us move on to the main event. See No Evil 2. All right, this movie was released.
Really quick, I'm sorry to interrupt.
So, go ahead.
I just thought about it. Going back to the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame?
No, I did not get a chance to watch it last night.
Oh, is it? So you might miss. I don't know if you heard about this or not. I mean, Bret Hart got attacked.
What?
By a fan who ran in while he was on stage talking, and someone ran up and tackled him, and a bunch of wrestlers came in the ring and started beating the shit out of this guy.
Holy shit! I wish I would have watched that live. They're probably gonna cut it out.
Oh, they're definitely gonna cut it out.
Damn it! Damn it!
There's YouTube footage.
I'm gonna have to. I'll have to find it on
YouTube. But damn.
Why would you attack Bret Hart?
I don't know, but he had long hair and a fucking Rasta hat on. It's so weird.
Well, maybe that's why the Rasta hat. I don't know.
So weird.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look that up. Anyway, so See No Evil 2 was released on October 21st, 2014, straight to DVD.
No theatrical release.
No theatrical release. It was written by Nathan Brooks and Bobby Lee Darby. Both of them also wrote the WWE film 12 Rounds 3, Lockdown, which starred Dean Ambrose, the soon-to-be former WWE wrestler. Directed by Jen and Sylvia Soska, the Soska sisters. They directed the horror movie called American Mary and a few other things.
Wait, Soska sisters?
Yes.
So, wait. Say it again?
Jen and Sylvia Soska.
Were the what?
Directors.
Okay.
Yes. You can find this movie on Vudu, Amazon, YouTube Red, iTunes, Google Play, and something called Tubi, which I've never heard of before. But
yeah, Tubi.
Tubi sounds like a Teletubby. The cast, of course, we have Kane coming back to play Jacob Goodnight again. We're not going to talk about Kane because Kane's Kane. Then Daniel Harris joins the cast of this one.
Yes.
So she was not in the first one, but everybody knows Daniel Harris.
Trying to add some legitimacy to this horror movie.
Yes. Again, not going to go into her because we all know her. We all love her. Then we have Tamara, whatever, played by Catherine Isabel. She's probably kind of known. She's got 117 credits. She's
wow.
She's starred in the Ginger Snap series, which is kind of a cult favorite. She was Ginger in all three of those movies. She's also in American Mary, where she played Mary, which was also directed by Soska sisters. She was Gibbs in Freddy vs. Jason. She was also in 30 Days of Night, Dark Days, so one of the sequels to 30 Days of Night. Disturbing Behavior, Insomnia, and lots of other TV spots as well.
Which chick was this?
This was basically kind of one of the miniskirt, the necrophiliac kind of chick.
Gotcha.
Then we had Kayla, played by Shaylin Simmons. I think that's pronounced her name right. Anyway, she got 69 credits, including Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, Final Destination 3, Malibu Shark Attack, Percy Jackson, The Olympians, The Lightning Thief, Good Luck, Chuck, Smallville, and some spots on How I Met Your Mother. Other than that, I didn't really go into much of the other cast, but those are the kind of the bigger names here.
Yeah, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil was a fun movie.
So let's ring this bell and get this match underway.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, actually, I should say before we start, today's drink of the day is a Leinenkugel Summer Shandy because the weather is just gorgeous outside.
And we're going to be inside.
But we're going to get through this because we got stuff to do. So, movie. We opened straight away with the credits, so no cold open or anything like that, just credits. I say a little tidbit or fun fact if anybody cares. At the very end of the credits, the camera shows like these two dead girls on a gurney, like in a morgue, and those are the directors doing.
That's what I was getting at when I was like, wait a minute, hold on, those sisters, because they look like twins. They look like this. I was like, huh.
Yeah, those are the directors. When you mentioned
that they were directors, I'm like, oh, that's those bitches.
Yep, that's exactly them.
Yeah. So during this opening scene, it's kind of reminded me of the first one. In a way, because in the first See No Evil movie, they're doing like shots of this dirty, scary place, and look, this rusty blade, and this scary, dirty, scratchy film stuff. And this one, it's a little different. They're showing like it's cut from the same cloth, but it's now they're in a hospital or like in a morgue, and they're showing medical equipment and. But it's not as scary. I'm just like, this looks really clean and tidy.
No, it's like the opening to like ER or some medical drama or something like that.
It's the lights are low and they're showing like a long hallway of a hospital.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I liked it better. I'll tell you that. But at the same time, it was kind of like now we're taking Kane out of the dirty place and putting him in a nice clean hospital, and we're still gonna try the same formulaic crap. Oh well.
Yeah, can't argue with that. So after the credits, we go to, like I said, some morgue where we meet our main characters, Amy and Seth, who work there. Amy's Daniel Harris. Seth is played by some guy. I'm not really talking about him or don't know much about him. Anyway, so right off the bat, we can tell that Seth is in love with Amy. There's no hiding that.
There's
that
right away. Cute little flirty kind of work flirt thing going on.
We also learn that it's Amy's birthday. So Amy's shift ends and she gets ready to leave for the night to go out with her, meet her friends. And this is where we meet her boss, Holden, who's in a wheelchair. In his office is a small desktop safe that for some unexplained reason, everyone has to put their cell phones in, which is just bullshit and like... I'm
not calling bullshit on this.
Okay.
No, so it's hospitals have all kinds of different policies, and with phones today, you just have a camera instantly right there.
Yeah.
You're working in a morgue. You have the deceased. You have people who can take pictures, and that's a big HIPAA violation. So while most likely you're right, they wouldn't have their cell phones, but certain hospitals might have a policy like that. I could see that being legitimate. You want to, you don't want to have one, you're at work.
Yeah.
2, you have the risk of like taking pictures of dead bodies and things like that and posting it. So
okay. Well then, Aaron lawyered.
Boom.
All right. So all right. Cool. I will say that thought lingered in the back of my mind, but I was still like, in a safe, really, like lock it up in a safe. I gotta get but anyway.
Again, I don't care. Yeah.
But it never really comes into play again later anyway. So Holden gives Amy her cell phone. She's about to leave when a news report begins to play on Holden's laptop, which was also weird that a breaking news story come out on the laptop, not the TV.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, the reporters report on the events of the murders from the first See No Evil movie. So they're talking. So we find out that basically this is kind of like Halloween 2.
Right.
It's basically exactly Halloween 2.
That's exactly what I thought too. This is basically Halloween 2 reboot, for See No Evil.
Yeah.
And it's right after the events of when Jacob Goodnight had a mass killing and he killed all these teenagers at this hotel, and they're saying, "Oh, we found all these other dead bodies."
Yeah.
The body count can be in the trip 3 dozen deaths.
Yeah, dozens and dozens.
Dozens and dozens of deaths.
So then right after that, Holden gets a call telling him from, I guess, some authority or somebody saying that his morgue is going to be receiving 9 of the bodies that were found at
Get ready.
Yeah, get ready. You're getting bombarded. So during this phone call, we get lots of flashbacks to the first movie of people getting killed and just lots of flashbacks. Hearing all this,
reminding you of what you might want to watch instead.
Hearing this, Amy decides to cancel her plans for a party, and she's gonna like, you know what, I'm gonna stay here and help you guys out. At least get some of this. So we cut to Amy and Seth staying around the loading dock door, waiting for the ambulance to drop off the last body. And here we can see the morgue, which has to be part of a larger hospital because this building is fucking huge.
It's gigantic.
It's a massive building. It's not giant, but yet there's only 3 people working this entire place.
I was very confused about this morgue.
Yeah,
right.
Me too.
So because it's so gigantic. Is this a hospital? Because it feels like a hospital.
It feels like a hospital too, because I know there's probably a standalone morgue somewhere, but I figure most morgues are in a hospital.
Exactly.
And
they are.
If they are in a hospital, there's gonna be way more than just 3 people working there. Why are there only 3 people?
Right.
It's insane.
Is this a big city? Is this a small town? I don't remember the first one where it took place. I thought it took place in L.A. or something.
We never really knew because it just it just started with the juveniles loading up a bus and they arrived at a hotel.
Yeah.
So we just assumed it was a large city because it had this big old massive hotel that'd be run down. So I just assumed it was something like in L.A. or something like that.
Yeah, me too. And so let's just assume a big city.
Yeah. It had to be somewhat large city of a hospital of that size.
But is it a morgue? Is it a hospital? I don't know.
But if it's a morgue, it's the world's biggest morgue.
That's what I'm saying.
And if it's a hospital,
it's the world's most abandoned hospital.
Yeah, it's like, what is going on with this place? I don't get it. And later, they go down miles, it seems, of hallway.
So many hallways.
And
how many clothing gurneys are there? Clothing racks are there where they're just oh, I'm gonna throw this clothing rack in the way. It's just clothing racks.
Oh, yeah, linen racks.
Linen racks for scrubs and blankets,
towels and all.
Yeah.
There's
tons of those
all over. But I know, and more gurneys than I've ever seen before.
Right.
It's really confusing. What this place is as big as it is. This place should be had easy Even it's a graveyard shift, I get that, and you're not gonna have a fully staffed, but still, you're gonna have more than 3 fucking people. You probably 10, maybe even 100 based on the size of this place.
Right.
It's so huge. So, anyway, now there's a scene in the ambulance. I should say on the way, the ambulance is on the way to the hospital, and we see 2 MTs trying to resuscitate Kane, who somehow is still alive, which is kind of messed up based on the events of how the first one ends. He should be fucking dead.
Oh, let's remind the listeners of what happened to him.
He had an awesome death scene in the first one. I will say that
he did, because he was on the he got the shit beat out of him a whole bunch. He got his arm smashed to pieces by a pipe.
Yeah,
he's hanging on the outside of a windowsill with his hand impaled on a big spike. I watched this recently because I was like, I have to call bullshit on this. His hand's impaled and smashed. It's cut, mangled. His arm got beat to death with a pipe. They took said pipe, stabbed him in the fucking eye.
Yes.
With it, went deep into his eye. He falls probably 12 stories.
At
least down. On the fall down, the pipe and head smashing against the wall.
Yep.
Crashes through an atrium, glass flying everywhere, lands with a sickening thud.
Oh, no. You're missing
the
fact.
I forgot,
The pipe gets stuck on a roof, a metal beam of the atrium. It gets hooked on there, spins him around, the pipe comes out of his eye, and then he plummets to the floor.
Then he plummets to the floor and gets impaled on some items, some spiky looking
I didn't think
items.
got impaled.
He did. I watched it again.
Okay.
And it did this weird close-up thing, this this weird like effect where they go inside the body.
I call it the Mortal Kombat X-ray attack.
Yes, and they show his heart getting like basically exploding, getting impaled by these spikes, and then it pans back out. And he's like, bah.
Yeah. One of the most epic death scenes I've ever. It's a great scene. Great sequence.
You want to talk about pretty definitively dead when they actually take the time to show you his heart get fucking torn apart.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, so but you do see Kane flatline in the ambulance. So now he is officially dead. His body gets dropped off. Amy and Seth take him down to the morgue. They start working on him. They make a point to show you how much he weighs and how big he is. They say he weighs 323 pounds and he's measured at even 7 feet tall. Oh, my God, excuse me.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. I apologize for that. I hope that wasn't too bad in your guys' ear hole.
We're going to edit that out?
Nope. You're going to suck it up.
You don't have to smell it. I do.
There is a jump scare where Kane has spits up some blood onto Daniel Harris's face, and so I was like, "Oh, that's just a death rattle. You're fine."
She's like listening in, and it's like she can maybe hear him breathing. And they did show him in the when he flatlined in the ambulance that his fingers were moving a little bit here and there. You know, there was the little signs of life, if you will, and that's what it was.
So basically, Seth offers to finish up so Amy can go enjoy her birthday. She's like, "Okay, thanks." She takes him up on the offer, and she leaves. She walks down a hallway and she starts hearing something, and she goes into one of the rooms which is filled with covered bodies on gurneys. An arm reaches out, grabs her, she screams. All the covered bodies sit up and yell surprise. The covers are pulled off to reveal Amy's friends, who have decided to bring the party to her instead.
It's decorated. They got a
they do reveal where they roll back like a wall section or something like that, and there's all this decoration liquor set up. So the party begins, and we meet the rest of our cast of sacrificial lambs, where we have Kayla, the blonde girl, Tamara, Carter is Tamara's boyfriend and beanie enthusiast. He's that asshole who wears the wool skull cap in the middle of summer, that douchebag. And then Will, Amy's giant brother and probably a hair model, if I had to guess, would be his
good hair.
Would be his chosen profession. Will towers over Amy. They could have picked a more stark contrast. It makes it hard to believe that these two would actually be siblings.
Dude, he's only just a few inches shorter than
Kane.
I mean,
he's almost Kane's size.
He's got to be 6'5".
Easily,
maybe taller.
I mean, he kind of looks like a roided out Judd Nelson from the Breakfast Club.
I can see that.
He really does.
Good. Yeah.
So Seth joins them with the party. They all toast. They all have a drink. Seth excuses himself. He goes back to work. Tamara, we learn, is obsessed with psycho killers and has a weird fetish for corpses and death, but she's not goth. So I want to say, so if you haven't seen this, she's not goth. She's not wearing all black gothy makeup. She's just a weird chick.
I mean, she's
not goth at all.
She's got hints of goth, in my opinion. She's got the black hair pulled back, kind of has almost like a Wednesday Addams kind of.
I didn't get goth from her at all. I thought she worked at like an office somewhere or something, or just train. Not in the office, not in the main. She was going out to party. So, but I didn't get goth from her. She's she's wearing a silk blouse and a mini skirt with boots. I wouldn't say it's but it's not gothy.
Yeah, but they're chunky boots. I got goth light from her.
I didn't get that at all, but whatever.
I got her.
It's neither here or there.
Goth. Yeah.
She basically gets the information from where Kane's body is from Holden, and then she and Carter end up sneaking away to go find Kane's body. Here we learn that Amy and Will have a bit of a rocky relationship because Amy dropped out of medical school, apparently. Now, this bit of background info never really seems to have any bearing on the movie whatsoever. So I really don't get the point as to why they threw it in here. Just, I guess, to try to add some more character relationship development, but it never.
Boo.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Oh, this was so bad. She's getting into. You dropped out of medical. Is this when they had the fight? Or is this?
It's not they have a couple of them. They have at least two of these.
It's weak sauce, man. Yeah. It's really weak sauce.
They have one now, and then they have one later, in the middle, being chased by Candy. So let's stop and hash out some family drama in the middle of being chased by a murderer. So then we see Seth working on another room, embalming some random corpse. With what looks like antifreeze or coolant, but
what the fuck fuck is he doing?
I don't know, he takes this giant needle and just shoves like in the guy's stomach and starts pumping him full of like.
He's got this.
Like, I'm not a funeral director. I'm not an embalming guy, but I don't know if that's how you just
I
shove it
don't
in their
think so
stomach.
either,
Just
no.
shove it in their stomach. And, like,
all bullshit here.
like, that would fill up their body cavity, and so, but not the. It wouldn't mean their veins. Like, you have to suck the blood out and then pump in the veins, not just like stab a giant needle in and pump them full of liquid.
Right. It's like in the stomach.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's the weirdest. Like, I don't think they have really made any like medical experts on set with this.
They didn't do any research.
I don't
just
think.
like,
I really don't think
this
they
looks
did.
weird. Let's stick it in the stomach and turn the switch.
Because at first it looks like
stuff goes.
I mean,
in.
it looks like he's doing like reverse liposuction or something like that. It looks like a needle, like you just let's suck out the
Yes,
fat.
yes,
It's like
yes.
he's pumping it in. It's really.
It doesn't make. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was the same thing. Like, that can't be right.
No, it's not.
So, anyway, so Tamara and Seth make their way down to Kane's body while making out on the way there. They find the room with his body in it. Tamara gets all horned up and horny and starts playfully unbuttoning her top. She mounts Kane's body. I will say Tamara, I think Catherine Isabel who plays her. I kind of like her. She was fun.
Yeah, she was.
She I liked her attitude. She was very playful and but still kind of sexy, playful,
Goofy.
and goofy. But yeah, I liked her. She was,
She was a bright spot in the film.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Her and Daniel Harris were good. They're fine. Everybody else is kind of eh.
And I know everyone goes crazy over Daniel Harris, but I don't get it. I just don't get it.
That's fine. You don't have to. Like, I mean,
she's not bad, and I know she just does a lot of horror movies. But I'm like, that's her thing. Is she does horror movies? So I'm like, okay. But other than that, I'm like, there's nothing. I don't get it.
Okay.
I just don't get it.
She mounts Kane's body, and we see that Kane has a bloody gauze over his left eye from where the pipe went through his head. And a larger gauze pad on the back of his head as well, because I also think he got shot in the head at one point.
That was
we
in
saw
the very
maggots.
beginning of the film.
Yeah, because we saw maggots coming out of his
but
head.
that was later, and that was earlier in
Yeah.
in the career.
But I'm just saying that they at least try to keep some of the
continuity.
That's what I'm trying to get at. But I had this whole bit here, but you kind of reminded me about the death scene of Kane, because I had this whole bit about the pipe, and but so it doesn't matter now. But so fuck it, I guess I have to move on. Because I was thinking like the pipe should still be in his eye, and they wouldn't have removed the pipe. That would have been the medical examiner's job to remove the pipe. And I think,
remember, you even said yourself.
I know.
Right
And I was like,
yeah.
because you started talking like it brought it back. I'm like, oh yeah, shit.
Oh
well.
All those notes.
Yep. Big waste. So anyway, Tomorrow ends up leaning down, actually kissing Kane on his cold, dead lips. This pisses off Carter, but Tamara makes it better by making out with him, and then she pushes his head down so you get a little bit of cunnilingus going up against one of the metal.
As she stares at Jacob Goodnight's dead body.
Yep.
Getting her pussy eaten.
Now, I found that really...
Goddamn.
Really, I don't know how I would... I'm not saying I wouldn't do this because if it was a hot girl, but I find it weird how easily Carter's like, all right, let's make out after you kiss the dead guy. Like, the last thing her lips touched was a dead guy's mouth.
Yeah.
Like, would you, like, want to go straight to kissing that right away? Like, I don't know. That's just a little weird.
So, yeah, I mean, when you kind of say it like that, I guess that does make it is kind of strange. But
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it either, but it's like he had to ignore it. Like, all right, it's like she kisses dead guys all the time, and he's
but
like,
she's super hot.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I say that hotness meter really offsets so much.
Sure does.
So much.
Yeah.
God, hot women are so lucky. They can go with shit like that.
They can kiss dead guys.
They can kiss dead guys and have guys make out with them. If she was a fat chick, it wouldn't happen. No, I don't know. But so we go back to Kayla and Will. They're drinking. We find out that Kayla has a crush on Will. They end up making out too. So now everybody's making out everywhere.
Everyone's like, it's sexy fun time.
It's make-out time,
In
yeah.
the morgue, all right.
Yeah, no sexier place than that. We cut to Tamara and Carter, who are now fucking on a gurney a few feet away from Kane. Carter is still wearing his douchebag cap, by the way, until she finally pulls it off of his head. During their fuck session, Tamara happens to glance over and see that Kane's body is now gone.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yep. They stop banging. Carter thinks it's just the guys messing with them. And then the lights go out. So Tamara, like, lights. We see her light a match. Which I'm like, where the fuck she getting matches from all of a sudden?
I do want to remind you at this point.
Okay.
This is when shit starts getting down, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We are a half hour in.
Yeah.
We're a half hour into the movie.
Yeah.
Of an
just
hour
about.
and a half movie.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Let's get fucking going. I was getting like.
I actually didn't think the pacing was that bad.
Up until this point, I mean, it's a half hour, just like
I get, but at the same time, like to me, we've seen so much worse. Like we've had movies that nothing happened to like 50 minutes into a movie, and then like the last 20 minutes were a good part. Like, so I wasn't that. Yeah, because I mean, even looking back at See No Evil 1, like they still had a bunch of like crap at the beginning, like.
But they started off with like cutting off a guy's arm and.
Well, they had the cold opening. Yeah, there was no cold opening just to set up. But other than that,
True.
but still, the pacing was like 20, 30 minutes in. Like, okay, like you have to establish some things. So, but I didn't think the pacing was that bad. It didn't bother me, I guess, as much as it does you. But I can understand your point. I do get it. Anyway, Tamara lights a match. Where she gets matches from, I don't fucking know, because she certainly wasn't having their skin tight miniskirt or anywhere. But they don't see or hear anything. And the match burns down her fingers, and she's like, ow! And she, it flicks out the match, flicks it out. Lights a second one, and then the same thing happens again. Oh, this one I laughed at because you can tell, like, there's so much match left to burn when she starts flicking it out. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that's even close to your fingers, and you're just, like, flicking out the match. You can eat, it's
a mild gripe.
It's a mild gripe, but it's funny if you really see it in a visual. She lights a third match, and this time we see Kane standing behind them in the candlelight.
Chest.
Just basically chest and like a little bit of chin. Yeah. Tamara slowly turns her head around. She sees Kane. She screams. Kane grabs Carter. The match goes out, and all we hear is screaming in the dark along the sounds of Carter getting like slammed around the room. Tamara bursts out of the room into the hallway, screaming, running away. Cut to Kane now, who just. The lights are back on in the room, I guess. He turned the lights back on.
Sure.
He's like, I need light. Turns the light back on.
It's like, it is really dark in here.
And he finds his mother's corpse in one like the roll-out metal fridge unit thingies. Wherever.
Yeah. Very first one he picks, by the way.
Yeah, it just fucker should fit the lottery or something. Just first one. Zoop.
Hey, Ma.
So he pulls her body out and starts having more flashbacks from the first movie while saying, I see it, and blah, blah, blah.
Now, let's remind you that Kane also killed his mother in the first one.
Yes, he did.
He did her in.
He threw her against a giant spike sticking out of the wall, which was really weird. Like, that was like just one random spike sticking out of the wall.
Went through her head, into her eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Carter, who's still alive, tries to get up and run away, but Kane just grabs him, tosses him back down to the floor. Kane then grabs Carter by the neck, and with one hand lifts Carter up off the floor, chokes him to death one-handed. And once again, I'm left very disappointed. I mean...
This is our first kill.
But again, it's like, okay, he lifts him up one hand, got him home by the neck one-handed, and I'm like, this is now 2 movies with Kane, and not once do they have him choke slam anybody.
Right?
Like, come on! Like, in the first movie, there's the double choke slam.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been, like, please,
double
choke
awesome.
slam.
Yeah.
And now here's another opportunity to make up for it.
Got her by the neck.
He's got him in the choke slam position.
Hold
and
him up.
Just all he does is strangle him. I'm like, no! God damn it!
And that's our first death.
That's the first death.
And it is a week.
Yes. So in the words of Batista, I say, give me what I want! Give me what I want! Give me what I want! I want to see Kane choke slam somebody in a movie. Come on. So we cut to Amy walking the halls. She hears Tamara screaming. We cut back to Kane, who looks at his gaping eye hole in the mirror, then grabs like this. I didn't talk about this, but at the very beginning, when we see Seth and Amy talking, they're working on this burn victim that comes in, and they pull this like not metal, but like this hard, clear plastic mask off this burn victim's face, which I guess could be a real thing to keep his face. I don't know. But then they sit on the counter. So Kane picks up this bloody plastic mask, and he puts it on his face. Why? I don't really know why. Just because it doesn't really make him look scary. It makes him look weird. Like, he's scary enough without it.
Yeah.
And like, just, it's not like it covers up. It doesn't cover up his eye hole either.
He didn't wear anything like that in the first one.
No. And it's not like this thing protects his eye, because there's eye holes in this mask. Like, why is it? So I have no idea why he's wearing this mask. It's just a stupid, I guess, director's design decision. But I think it actually takes away from Kane.
I agree. And does it have anything to do. It doesn't have any like slight representation of his wrestling, because when he did pro wrestling, I mean, he had a mask for much of his career. He wore a mask.
Yeah, but it doesn't look anything like that. Yeah,
right. And I thought maybe that would have something to it, but it doesn't. It doesn't have any. I don't see any connection.
Hard, clear plastic match. It doesn't
It doesn't add any element
the only thing
of horror.
I thought was like, okay, it's on a burn victim, so maybe it's supposed to protect the burnt skin or burnt face for some medical weird reason. But then, if he puts it on his face isn't messed up. It's like it's not protecting anything.
No.
And like I said, it's not. There's not like a covering up his eye hole to protect his missing eye hole. It's just
not scary looking.
It makes it look goofy in a way.
Does, yeah.
It's not. It's a very poor decision these filmmakers made to add this mask. They just left the mask alone. Let him be Kane. He was great in the first one, intimidating. Now he just looks like a weirdo with a cheap mask on.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so he puts that on. And then he opens up a metal cabinet that's just filled with all sorts of shiny instruments of death.
Yeah, and again, he's opens up this perfect, again, it's like he knows where everything's at.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh yeah, here's my dead mom. Here's this great mask. Here's all these instruments of death. All right. Time to go to work. You don't know where the fuck you are, asshole. What the hell's going on?
So we get more shots of Tamara running and screaming, and the other characters are starting to hear her screams echoing throughout the hallways. Amy walks up on Will and Kayla making out. They hear Tamara scream, like, okay, they go off to find her. Whatever. We cut to Holden now, rolling in his wheelchair through the hallways. He comes to a stop, and he hears the sounds of like metal chains jingling. He turns around and sees Kane, and he starts to wheel himself away as fast as he can while screaming for help. Then this is where we see Kane is armed with his trademark hook and chain from the first movie.
Yes.
Only it's a newer version.
Now he's got medical chains.
Yes, because all morgues have industrial strength, like
fucking giant
chain length of chain.
Link chain.
Yeah,
sure.
I can almost get past almost everything else, and like the saws, the hooks. I can almost explain that, like, fine, whatever. But all the chains.
Why the fuck is there so much chain?
It's not even just this chain. There's a lot of chains coming up.
I've worked in the medical field for several years. Not once have I seen medical grade chain.
And a lot of it's like this is a spool. And I guess there's like this giant spool of chain somewhere that you just roll off and cut off somehow. But anyway, so he has his hook and chain back.
I did like seeing the hook and chain back though.
I did like that too. He throws it at Holden, and the hook latches onto the wheelchair, and Kane yanks it back on the chain, which rips the wheelchair straight out from underneath Holden, who goes flying off of it. It looks pretty good. Holden tries to crawl away, but Kane then hooks the hook into one of Holden's ankles, and he begins to slowly pull Holden back towards him while he's frankly trying to grab railings and anything else.
And I did like this scene. This is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is because Holden is crippled. He's paralyzed from the waist down.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's crawling away, he just realizes he doesn't have any more forward momentum.
Yeah.
And he looks back and he sees the hook punctured through his leg.
Yeah.
And he does, obviously, no screams, no pain, because he can't feel anything.
Yeah, I thought that was good too.
I just liked that.
No, I did too. I agree with you. I liked it as well.
You can tell he's like, oh shit, he's got me.
So Kane pulls Holden back to him, but the camera cuts away before we see what actually happens to Holden, which I was disappointed in.
Boo!
Boo to that too.
Give me what I want! Give me what I want!
Give me what I want!
Yeah, yours sounds a little more whiny at first. You're like, give me what I want! You kind of corrected it there.
So we go back to Amy and Kayla and Will. They hear Holden scream. Amy says that must have come from downstairs, which I'm calling bullshit on this now too, because I don't think there's any way you'd be able to hear someone screaming from a floor below you in this place. Same floor, yeah, it probably echoes through those empty hallways, echoing fine, but a floor below you in like these giant like hospitals, like there's no way I think you would hear that at all.
Yeah, that's a tough sell. It's a tough one I agree. It's a tough one to like get by. Again, devil's advocate. Maybe if they're directly on top, like they're directly, yeah.
But even then, like there's so much.
There's
so much.
I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
And there happens to be a stairwell very close
with
to
both doors open.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then you can be like, huh.
That's the one thing. Like, oh, if they're by the stairwell and both doors happen to be open, but they're not. And like, there's just no way through all that steel and construction material. Like, there's no way that.
Well, no, man. You see what these doors are made of later on.
That's true.
Shit might just be going right through them.
I'd be surprised these people aren't just falling through the floor all the time, then, if that's the case. But the three of them take the elevator down, and they go to the room where Kane's body was.
Again, how many floors are on this?
Exactly. Like, a morgue is like, normally, like, I'm assuming the hospital, the morgue's on one floor.
Yeah.
Just one wing or one section,
Usually
one floor.
in the basement.
Yeah, I get that. Usually in the basement.
Sub-level, yeah.
I get that. But it's on one floor.
Yes.
This morgue, they go up and down like 3 or 4 different floors throughout this entire, and it's all the morgue.
At least 4.
Yeah, it's the most vertical morgue I've ever seen. It's just ridiculous.
Again, we cannot stress enough how big this place is.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
What is going on here?
Like, I get in the first one, they were in a giant hotel with all the elevators and the floors.
Yes.
That made sense. But again, like, we're in a morgue. Like, we're not supposed to be this big. Like,
I'm assuming it's not part of a hospital.
yeah, like, it's like this own weird. I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, I agree. So they find the room a complete mess. Everything's trash. They spot blood on one, like, the body cooler doors, you know, where you slide the body in and out. Amy opens it and finds Carter's broken and bloody body. They scream, and that's when the power goes out. Amy grabs a flashlight from a drawer and tells them they have to go find the others. So Will grabs a scalpel on his way out, which I guess is fine, and then he grabs something at least. But I'm thinking, really, that's what you grab? The smallest quote-unquote weapon there, when we clearly see, like, there's, like, almost, like, machete-esque animals, and, like, bone saws, and, like, machete-type stuff, like, large knives, and
Hammers.
Like, and that's what you grab? The tiniest, dinkiest little thing there? Like, come on, man. Jesus. So, like I said, anyway, that ass clown grabs this tiny scalpel instead of like the medical machetes. So we go to Seth, who also grabs a flashlight after trying the phone and finding that the phones are out now too for some reason. And then he leaves his embalming room to go find the others. So now there's lots of shots of everyone wandering down dark hallways. Lots of hallway walking. Amy comes across Holden's body, bloody on the floor, but there's nothing they can do for him, and Holden takes his last breath, dies in her arms.
Yeah, again, this is we find Holden, and I'm like, okay, well, he's still alive, so maybe he gets to get killed later. Nope. He's just, we hear his gas. I mean, he's just, like, ominously sort of bloody. He's not even that.
It's really not. Like, you would think I came, like, ripped this guy's arm off or tore him to pieces, but he's like, he may have gotten into a bad fist fight or something like that. He's not like that.
Maybe he got chokeslammed. We didn't see it.
Yeah, we didn't see it.
It's when you don't show the kill and you show the aftermath. Usually, the aftermath is stark.
Yeah, very.
Like a beheaded body, a headless corpse.
Yeah,
the arms are cut off, or
gutted.
Gutted. A big gaping wound. Something that shows something really bad happened.
No,
here.
for all we know, he fell down some stairs in his wheelchair or something like that. Because you don't. I agree with you. It was really, really lame and timid. Like, boo to that. So we go back to Seth, who has found an electrical box in the hallway. He opens it up, sparks fly out, and we see the box has been busted and it's fried. So there's nothing you can do. More dark hallway walking around. Tamara runs into Amy's group and tries to tell them that Kane's not dead, that he killed Carter. And I will say again, I love Tamara in this scene and how her reactions and how
it was pretty funny.
It's really good. Amy says they need to find Seth and then get out of here. So off the 4 of them go again. Cut back to Seth walking through more dark hallways. He ends up face to face with Kane. Kane attacks Seth, but Seth is able to dodge Kane's wild slashes and run. And this is one time where you see when Aaron talks about all the linen carts and stuff running around. Because
he grabs a linen cart and throws it between them to separate them, to give him a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It's linen cart number 1.
Well, yeah. So Amy's group comes to a locked door. While they figure out what to do next, Seth pops up on the other side of the door. Luckily for him, he has the keys and is able to open it and join them on the other side, which he locks the door behind him. Seth tells them that Kane is alive, and that's when Kane's massive arm comes crashing through the glass window of the door. Kane grabs Seth by the collar and starts pulling him back. He's just slamming him repeatedly against the door.
trying to pull him through that little window.
Yeah, he's trying to pull him through the window, or he's going to actually pull him through the door.
He's basically trying to pull a Freddy Krueger from the very end of Nightmare on Elm Street 1 when he pulled Nancy's mom, through that tiny window. Yeah. He's trying to pull that off.
Will helps Smith get out of his lab coat, and which frees him, and they all take off running down some stairs.
Yeah, it's a good thing they took off running, because hot on their heels.
Like immediately, like Kane comes smashing through the door like the fucking juggernaut, man, just boom.
But
that door was like a metal fire door, I believe.
It should be a metal fire door, but apparently they cheaped out and it's made of cardboard. Because goddamn, it looks bad. It's a cardboard door, and it looks every bit of cardboard.
I agree with the door, but I don't know. I still love seeing Kane smash through shit. I just do.
And again, in the first one, it made more sense. Dilapidated building, things are falling
rotted
apart.
wood, everything.
Yes, it made sense when he smashed through a wall and he's like, rah, that was.
And he was fully alive. He didn't go through that's like we talk about how he's like all his energy and his strength back after being everything that's happened to him, and he's smashing through walls.
Yeah, and god damn it. And so he's smashing through, like you said, a big, thick, heavy fire door.
So as they get to the bottom of the stairs, and this is when they all end up running out in different directions. So they all get split up. We have Tamara and Smith. They ran off together. Amy and Will are together, and then poor Kayla has run off by herself. Kayla tries to hide in a bathroom while Will and Amy take refuge in an office, and this is where they start arguing again over what to do. And Amy's like, I want to go back out there and find the others, and Will wants like, no, you're going to stay here where it's safe. And this argument, this is where it leads to more background crap surfacing that still has no bearing on the story at all. It's like, why are you arguing about dropping out of medical school and how your mom feels and all this stuff now when you got like a giant monster of a man trying to murder you? And like, hey, let's air out our dirty laundry right here in this tiny little office.
Right?
And let's scream and yell at each other so he can hear us, by the way, as the sound echoes down these hallways.
Dude, you're preaching the fucking choir. The whole time watching this, I'm like, huh?
Like, I don't get it. Like, why are you trying to make this like backstory stuff? It doesn't matter.
You're just trying to
doesn't matter.
Ram this down our throats like making Roman Reigns have face.
Yeah, like trying to make Roman Reigns popular. I like that one. Anyway, Kayla locks herself in a bathroom, locks the bathroom door behind her. And we see Seth and Tamara in the same hallway trying to find an open door. They try the bathroom door, which Kayla locked. The rattling of the door makes Kayla think it's Kane.
And again, I kind of call bullshit on this because they're clearly talking.
Oh, yeah.
They're saying, oh, let's try the bathroom door. Well, the keys work. I don't know. It's not locked. Like, they're talking.
Yeah.
She's right on the other side of the door. Yeah. And we've already established you can hear very well in this ward.
Yes, you can.
You can hear a pin drop, apparently, but she can't hear the voices.
She doesn't, but she does eventually. Like, I agree. Like, she should have heard them right off the bat.
Yeah.
She hears them, like, as they turn and walk away from the door. She's like, oh, that's not Kane. Let me try to get to the door and unlock it for them. So she goes to the door and she's about to unlock it when Kane comes out of like a stall. I guess he was in there taking a dump or something. Because he's like, where is he? What? How did he? God damn it! How did he get in front of them? Like, how did he get ahead of her and have time to get into a bathroom stall and the right bathroom at this? That he knew,
and hide
in this one bathroom that he just knew that they were going to this one particular bathroom. I swear, like I think he just was there taking a dump, and she interrupted him.
Oh, talk about lucky.
Yeah, fuck. So Kane comes out, grabs her. He chokes her out too, but
like a bear hugging her with one arm and
it's like
grabbing her face with the other.
Yeah, it's a weird choke, but she starts coughing up mouth blood, and while he's choking her, he has more flashbacks. These seem to upset him, and he tosses Kayla to the floor and starts looking at himself in the mirror.
Yeah, he's kind of whipping her back and forth, and you hear like crack, all these sounds, and he throws her to the floor.
We get more flashbacks of his mother and how she treated him. Kayla's still alive, gasping for breath on the floor. Kane says, "Can't, I won't." And Kayla's like, "Oh, thank God!" Like, he's gonna leave me alone.
She even says, she goes, "Thank God."
Yeah. So hearing this triggers Kane, who turns to her and says, "Why would God help you? You're a dirty whore. I see the sin in you. I see it." And then Kayla just dies. He doesn't even get to do any kind of big murder and like slam into the mirrors and break anything. She just dies.
He just dies. Boo! Give me what I want!
Give me what I want!
What the hell was that?
I know! So, god damn it!
So dumb!
So dumb!
So weak! The first 3 kills are such bullshit! This was the worst. I mean, this may have been the worst just on principle.
Oh, no, it is. I'll give Holt, because we've seen times like the cutaway death.
Yes, that's why.
So, whatever. Yeah.
But this was just bad. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. But he
just gives up the will to live and just dies.
Yes, he like squeezes her, and I guess he probably fucked her up and, threw her down the ground. And then she says, "Oh, thank God I'm going to live." And he just goes, "No, you won't." And she dies. She just fucking dies.
So we cut to Seth and Tamara, who he tells her that they're coming up on the stairs that will lead them out, and that she must go and call for help while he goes back and get the others. They turn the corner and find the doors to the stairway have been blocked and by chains and gurneys. So again,
more
massive chains are like chaining this door, and like gurneys are strung up and like blocking this door and sealing it, keeping it closed.
How did he find the time?
That's a great point.
To do all this shit that happens in the movie.
I know. I agree. Like, yeah. So they go back to where they came, looking for open doors, to which they do find one. Right after they hear banging sounds coming their way. In this room, they hide in this room, and there is a kind of a funny moment when Tamara's like, she says like, "Hey, hide here," and Tamara's like, "That's a terrible hiding spot," but she does anyway. She hides behind this shelving unit while he hides on like a gurney that has like a sheet hanging over it, kind of like a kid hiding under the dining room table, the tablecloth type.
More linen tables.
Yeah,
more linens.
Kane enters his room looking for them. Turns out that this room also has a window in it that connects to the office that Amy and Will are in.
Yeah. So they ran completely opposite directions.
Yes. So but you do see Seth and Tamara, they do turn around and go back the way they came.
Okay.
So they do that. That's I know where you're going with that, but yeah, when they see that barricade door, they have to go back the way they came.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
So Amy and Will are able to drop down out of sight right before Kane turns around to see them in the window. Now, for several moments, we watch as Kane slowly walks around the room looking for looking for everybody hiding. Kane finds Tamara, but before he can do anything, Amy pops up, banging on the window to distract him. Kane goes over to the window and just stares down Amy. They just lock eyes. They stare down each other.
It felt like that moment in H2O when Laurie Strode is looking through the window at Michael Myers on the other side.
Yes.
It kind of had that moment. But I was like, why is there having a moment?
Yeah, I thought the same thing too, but I was like, I get like, okay, this is the main character and our main villain, but it seems like what made that one H2O so great is because they had a history.
Exactly.
They had a long, documented, tragic, history.
Here they are meeting again.
Now, if it would be like, if she was like the survivor of the first movie,
yes,
that would be good. That would make more sense. Like, oh my God, he recognized, like I'm the one that got away.
Distant relations, something weird like that.
But no, it's just like he's just looking at, it could have been anybody.
It could have been anybody. And they make it this like moment.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm like, no.
So where was I? Kane, Tamara takes this window of opportunity to run, but the problem is she decides to run right past Kane, which I don't get. So they're going like around the gurney. She goes right behind Kane, and Kane in one quick fluid motion just turns, swings his giant fleshy knife, is what they call it, fleshing knife. The knife slices through Tamara's neck. Blood flies out. Tamara comes to a halt. She stands there locking eyes with Amy on the other side of the window.
Blood splashes.
Blood gushing from her neck. Tamara's head tilts to the side, which causes the neck wound to rip open more. Blood sprays over the window as Tamara collapses to the floor. Kane comes up, stands over her. She looks up at him and just dies. And just dies. And then Kane looks back up and stares at Amy some more.
Good death.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, that's our 4th kill.
Yeah.
And man, you were going down a dark path there for a minute there, Kane. I didn't like where you were going. So this actually looked good.
No, it looked really good.
Death.
Looked really good. Will breaks one of the windows with a chair. Seth scrambles out from his hiding spots, leaps through the now broken window, and all 3 of them take off running. Kane smashes through the wall, grabs Will, slams him against a hallway wall now.
He smashes through the wall.
Yeah, drywall, I guess, or I don't know. But
okay,
I know, I agree, but I love the point about the hotel being old, run down, dilapidated. I get it, but I still love watching Kane smash through stuff.
I know you do.
I find it very satisfying to watch him smash through walls and doors.
It was believable in the first one. I'm having to stretch a lot on this one, considering I work in hospitals and places like this. And it's
I know they're very well
thick
constructed.
And,
yeah,
they're very
I
thick
know.
and sturdy.
No, and at that point you're absolutely right. I agree with you, and I probably should be bitching about it, but I like watching Kane smash through shit so much. I was like,
he's not getting a pass from me, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's not fine.
No, I mean it's fine that you're not giving him a pass. Like it's fine. Where was I? Oh yeah. So Seth's holding Amy back. He's trying to help her brother. Will tries to fight off Kane, but he just gets manhandled. Will tells him to run, so Seth drags Amy away, kicking and screaming. Kane again grabs Will by the neck and lifts him up off the ground one-handed. Will pulls out the scalpel, stabs Kane like the collarbone area with it, but it really has no effect on Kane whatsoever.
Go, buddy.
It just pisses him off more, I guess. And Kane uses his free hand to grab Will's hand that's holding the scalpel. Kane then squeezes Will's hand so tight, like you hear bones crushing in Will's hand. He then turns Will's hand towards Will and makes Will stab himself in the chest with his scalpel.
That's not what I saw.
Really?
No.
What did you see then?
I saw Kane squeezing his hand, holding it, and he jerks his wrist, and he gets a compound fracture. He basically breaks his arm, and the bone sticks out, and he takes his arm and stabs him with his own bone sticking out of his arm.
No, see,
he's still holding the scalpel as he gets stabbed like this. He's still holding on to the scalpel.
I totally missed it. I thought he just made
it was unique. It was definitely interesting. I was like,
if that's what happened, that's pretty cool, but that's not what I saw. I saw him just like, I thought he made him stab himself with the scalpel.
No, you see, he breaks his arm, the bone sticking out of his arm, and he stabs him with the bone into his chest.
I might have to go back and rewatch it just to see if that's the case, because that's actually really cool.
I was like, haven't seen that before.
No, that would be really unique. That's cool. Like I need to go back and look at that. And
you're not going to look at that again.
So, anyway, yes, Will drops the scalpel. Seth and Amy run through more dark hallways while the sounds of Will screaming echo through the corridors. They come to another set of double doors. These doors have also been blocked off, only this time they're blocked off by Kayla's bloody body that's wrapped up and hanging from large chains. So, more chains.
More chains.
Somehow he's managed to drag Kayla's body from the bathroom to another set of doors, string her up
with medical grade chains again.
Yeah, and then get back to his hunting and stalking and killing. This guy's efficient, I guess, man. he has very good time management skills.
He got some great time management skills. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So, hearing Will's continued screams, Amy refuses to run anymore and decides that they're gonna go after Will. She breaks the glass like an emergency firebox and takes out what I was expecting to be a fire axe.
Right. I'm like, okay, here we go.
But instead, it's like a tiny little hammer. And they go after Will. Like, what? I've never... Like... what?
Fire hammer?
Like, I've never seen that. Like, I've seen little hammers dangling from the box they used to break the glass with to get to the axe. But I've never seen anybody take the little dangly hammer as the weapon. Like, what? What? What kind of morgue is this? Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, even there's
really strange. I mean, maybe even like a hatchet maybe would be,
yeah,
like,
but
I can maybe understand like a hatchet.
What are you gonna do with a hammer? How are you gonna break down a door in a fire with a hammer? Like,
and
it ain't Mjolnir. I'll tell you that. like, Jesus, it's like this dinky little hammer. So, they end up in what looks like this underground maintenance tunnels now. So now we're like subterranean.
Yeah.
Like it's like almost sewer-like. Like what the fuck? But these tunnels instantly reminded me, going back to Halloween movies, remind me of the tunnels in the opening of Halloween Part 6.
Yes.
Where the nurse is like taking Jamie Lloyd's adult character and the baby through.
Yes.
That's what I thought of instantly here. So the two of them enter this room, which is filled with covered dead bodies on gurneys, which I call bullshit on because I find it really odd and medically irresponsible. Like, why would these bodies just be lying in this room not in like a cooler or a fridge or and they're just like this weird random room at the end of like a tunnel underground, just left there abandoned. Like, what the fuck is going on? What is this room for? Why are there bodies in this room? What is happening here? What is going on? So Amy pulls the sheet back on the bodies to reveal Will, who is still alive but restrained, like these like restraints on the gurney. She removes the tape that's covering his mouth, and he tells her to run. And that's when his chest erupts in blood as a saw blade like cuts up through his chest from
bursting
underneath.
out from underneath.
Yeah.
Straight through his body.
Blood spraying everywhere.
Yeah.
The gurney, and when I say saw blade, it's not like it's like a, well, I'm going to come. The gurney gets flipped over. Kane rises up from underneath, pointing what looks like an electric carving knife at Amy and Seth. And that's what I'm saying. The saw blade, it really looks like an electric carving knife.
Yes.
That's basically what it is.
Yes, it looked great coming through his chest.
Yeah.
Not a bad effect.
No.
Pretty cool. Another death. All right, we're getting back to basics here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting back on a good foot. And then he bursts up and he's like, electric turkey carving knife.
Yeah.
Ah! I'm like, that's not as scary.
And he's while wearing the goofy mask. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, huh. So.
Do you want a leg or do you want a breast? Ah!
He's ready. So Amy starts swinging her hammer at Kane, but never makes contact. She winds up for one more big swing, but Kane grabs the hammer mid-swing. He then goes to swipe at Amy with the carving knife, but Seth leaps in the way heroically in the last second, taking the carving knife to his collarbone area.
Yeah, kind of like a shoulder collarbone.
Yeah, but the two of them are able to get away anyway, and Kane doesn't really... He has more than an opportunity to like easily like just kill them right there. Because they're both laying on the girl looking up at him. And he just stands there and they get up and run.
Yeah.
So he's like,
and he doesn't really go into pursuit.
No, he just kind of stands there for a minute. He's like, let him go. Let him go. They run down more hallways in the maintenance areas, unlocking and relocking like these fenced gates as they come and go. I'm not sure why they stop and hide in one of these fenced in storage areas because I don't get the point in that instead of just keep running.
Yeah.
But they say, hey, let's just stop here. Kane stalks after them, easily breaking through the locked gates. More running down tunnels. It's like, why do they just keep going? Like, I struggle to figure out why they had him stop here. Like, it makes zero sense. Because there's a horrible hiding spots. Like, everything's like open. Like, there's nowhere to hide. It's chain link fence. He can see you. You're right there. And so, more running down tunnels. As I said, Amy again stops here to have a cry. She gets a short pep talk from Seth, who perks her up or bucks her up, and they continue on. We do get another high tension moment here when they come to another locked gate, but they manage to get through it and relock it right before Kane gets to them. I'm kind of skimming
that old chestnut.
Yeah,
and skim away.
They end up back in the hospital proper now. They lock themselves in one of the morgue workrooms. It's the same room that we saw Seth embalming the body way back when.
Yeah.
Amy tells Seth that she needs to cauterize his wounds before he bleeds out, which she does with the help of some magical powder.
Dude, yeah.
I don't know what hell she used. All I know is that she poured some powder on his wounds, uses a lighter, and the powder erupts in a flash of flame, and he's cauterized. It's like, was that gunpowder?
This
like,
was
what the
so
fuck did she just put on him?
Ridiculous.
Is she a sorceress now? Is she a shaman? What's she doing?
This is like straight out of Rambo.
Yeah.
It made sense in Rambo.
It's like Saba with her gunpowder bomb.
Yeah.
Like, let me take some shotgun shells and put some gunpowder on me.
What is this powder she has? Like, it's like, this is a, God damn it. This doesn't make any sense.
Again, why would a morgue even have, like, what?
But it's like just a few steps away from a hospital, okay? They have a lot of equipment that can be used to patch him up pretty nicely. Yeah. They even show in the movie there's bandages over here. There's tape and gauze over there. There's tons of shit.
Yeah, but they're not just, they have to cauterize it, not just bandage it up.
I know.
But still, like, really? Like, come on. Like, what is this magical flaming powder you're using?
She doesn't take his shirt off. She doesn't look at the wound.
She just sets him on fire.
Yeah! And he's instantly, he's good to go.
He acts like, nothing. Like, nope, I'm fine. Like, I'm better now.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel great now.
All right. I'm not hurting at all.
This is like video game like healing.
Yeah.
It's
will you take the green herbs?
Yeah. It's like,
I feel great.
Here we go. Fuck.
So they they share a nice moment here, and they talk about how Seth was going. How was Seth going to be able to take her on a date with only $5 in his wallet? Amy says that she can slip out one of the windows, but Seth says that he will never be able to make it through that small of an opening. He tells her to take his car keys, go call for help. She doesn't want to leave him, but he convinces her to. They finally kiss. Amy opens the window and starts to climb out. Now, I have a little asterisk here. This is where I had a little hiccup with my Blu-ray disc. Because it froze and skipped around here. So I'm not 100% sure what happens, but what I know is that Amy started to crawl out the window. Now, I think she gets outside, but then the next thing I see is Amy and Seth hiding in the corner in the room they were just in, looking like they're trying to hide from view. So I'm guessing that Kane was outside. Amy scrambled back inside the window, and the two of them were trying to hide from Kane as he walked past the windows. Don't know if that's what happened, but that's what I'm guessing happened.
Well, let me tell you what happened.
All right.
Considering I watched this on Amazon Prime, and I didn't have any issues with skipping Blu-rays. What happened is she climbed out, and she started like creeping along the side of the building, looked around like once, came back, and got into the building, like scooted back into the building. And as soon as she scooted in, you see Kane walking into frame. So now he's outside the building.
Which he chained up.
Yes!
So he's taking down one of his barricades to get outside the building.
How'd he get out?
He's trying to go through a window. And as he went through a window like Amy did, but I don't know how to see Kane going through a tiny window.
How is this guy everywhere? You know, he's pulling like a Jason
Voorhees,
Voorhees level.
And again, in the first one, they did a good job because they showed this hot hotel had been converted. Like they made like secret passages, and he had like alarms triggering which room he could go to.
Yes,
they did a good job to explain how he could get from point A to point B so quickly and unseen. Here he's just fucking night crawling.
Now he's outside.
He's
now he's in the bathroom. Now he's on. Yeah, he's underneath the table. The fuck! God damn it! This is not a sneaky man.
No.
He's 7 feet, 323 pounds.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So
with giant clunky boots, and when he's walking by here, boom, boom, boom. It's like Bigfoot walking past. When they showed him, like you said, here comes Kane. He's walking past. She climbs back into the room. They're hiding in the corner, like cuddling, hiding in the corner, and you can hear him walking by. Boom, boom, boom. Fuck.
So basically, now we cut to Amy and Seth running through more hallways. They come to another locked door. Amy is frantically searching for the right key on the keychain, and that's when we hear a loud, wet stabbing sound. Blood sprays up on Amy's face. Amy looks down, and we see that she's been stabbed through the chest by the machete-like fleshing knife, and that Kane has stabbed her through the door.
Through the door. Through her body.
Yep.
His hand bursts through the door.
Seth runs up to Amy. He cradles her in his arms. Amy dies in his arms. Kane comes crashing through the door now. Seth calls him a bastard and then scrambles away down the corridor. He locks himself in an office, and then he has a little breakdown himself. Kane breaks down this door. Seth's nowhere to be seen now. So Kane starts looking around for him. Seth pops up from behind a corner and breaks a chair over Kane's chest. Proper wrestling style. Although this is Kane, he's been hit by chairs before, so this does nothing to him whatsoever.
Didn't give a fuck.
It does cause him to drop the fleshing knife, though. Seth dives for the knife, but Kane steps on his hand. Kane picks up Seth, tosses him around the room a bunch, but Seth manages to crawl under some desks to make his escape from the room. He gets back to we're going to call it the embalming room, the same room we've seen before. He tries to climb out the now broken window that Amy went out, which I don't know how the window got broken.
Yeah,
I missed that.
No, he did smash it. He smashed it, and
Seth or Kane?
Kane. So this is okay when he was walking past, and this must have happened with your Blu-ray.
Okay,
because Kane's walking past the door, and that's when Daniel Harris climbed back in as hiding.
Yeah.
When he's walking past again, it seemed like more out of frustration. He smashes the window real hard, and it breaks all the bars and shit off the window, and he keeps walking past.
Yeah, see, I still missed that point.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that, yeah.
Okay. So he tries to come down a broken window. But Kane, so Kane grabs him as he's going out the window, pulls him back inside. Kane then throws Seth into like more metal shelving units that cause several glass jars of various liquids to shatter on the floor in super slow motion.
They really want you to see this breaking glass.
Like, it's epically slow motion.
It's super slow motion. I was thinking to myself, and maybe you can answer this, was this ever filmed in 3D or shot in 3D? Because this seemed like a 3D type of...
I'm aware it was not.
Like a gimmick. Like a gimmick shot.
I get it, but it was not. Like, now
it sure
it was before
looked
the
like
3D craze really hit. And even if it was straight to DVD. It wasn't.
That's the thing. Yeah, it went straight to DVD.
So they weren't going to waste their money
right
on
in that
that
time
big
frame of the 3D, because it's 2014.
Yeah,
it's
you're right. I mean, you're right.
But they didn't.
But it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a big theatrical release, so they're not going to waste money.
Yeah. And it was such a strange shot.
Yeah, like, of all the things to be in slow motion, like, this is what we're putting in slow motion.
It's
like,
don't get me wrong, I was like, okay, but it was like so slow, and I guess it was kind of cool to watch the glass slowly break
and the glass
apart,
shatter and fly,
and it's flying towards the camera, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, I kind of liked it. It was like, oh, that's a cool shot, but why are we doing this?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, what? Huh? I didn't
There's
get it.
So many other things you could do slow motion with. This is a weird choice.
So Seth lands next to, or Kane picks him up again, throws Seth across the room one more time. Seth lands next to his embalming machine. He grabs a giant embalming needle, which is like 2 feet long. Kane walks up to Seth. Seth is on his knees looking up at Kane and says, "You're not so tough." Seth then stabs the giant needle thingy into Kane and turns on the machine.
He stabs it into his leg.
Into his leg, like his thigh or something like that, yeah. Into his leg. Turns on the machine, and embalming fluid starts getting pumped into Kane.
You see the tubing, and you see the blue liquid flying through the tubing, and it's wiggling around, leading up into,
Kane's leg.
Into Kane's leg.
Seth looks up, and Kane says, "Good night." Oh, it's so witty. Kane starts to convulse as we hear gurgling sounds. Kane's veins begin to bulge out from his skin and turn blue. Blood erupts from Kane's bloody, empty eye hole, and then the blood turns into blue embalming fluid being pushed out the eye hole.
He's convulsing. It's just stuff is pouring out of his eye.
Kane,
it's a weird look.
Collapses to the floor in front of Seth, dead.
Convulsing.
And then he goes limp. He's dead. Cut back to Amy's body. Cut back to Seth goes back to Amy's body where he mourns her a bit more, and then we see Seth leave the hospital. He makes it to his car, opens up his car door, and then as he opens the car door, you can very briefly see Kane's reflection in the window as he opens the car door. He gets in the car, drives off.
I didn't see that at all.
It's really quick. Like, you have to. It's really fast.
Huh? I must have blinked.
Yeah, like it says, if you blink, like you miss it. He comes to this closed gate, which forces him to get out of the car, go up to the gate, and pull out the metal pin that's holding the gate together. And when he turns around to go back to his car, he sees that one of the rear doors is now open. So, first of all, I had a problem with this gate because I'm like, again, like, what hospital is going to have a gate that keeps... Because it's a hospital. It should be open 24/7 for emergencies.
Is it a hospital,
But again, if it's a morgue, then it's the world's biggest fucking morgue. And also the fact that, how did all these people get in with their cars? Because they, if the gates were closed.
Right.
So how did all of Amy's friends get in the first place? Like, so they get out, unlock the gate, drive through the gate, get back out, close the gate, then drive the rest of the way up to the morgue? Like, doesn't make sense. So anyway, freaked the fuck out. He starts backing away from his car. He keeps backing away.
Because he sees the back door is open.
Yes.
I think, so he turns back to his car. The back door is open when she didn't open, so, uh-oh.
Yeah. And he backs right up into Kane.
Sure.
Bumps right into him. Kane grabs Seth by the head, digs his fingers into Seth's soft, wet eye holes, and begins squeezing his head. Seth screams in pain as blood runs down his face. We fade away to various shots of the hospital and all of Kane's victims while soft music plays.
Soft music and little girls sing over it in the music and, ooh, creepy kids.
Yeah. And we get another shot of Kane's mother lying on her death slab or whatever you want to call it.
Death slab! Death Slam.
That sounds like an 80s heavy metal
No,
band.
it sounds so awesome. Death Slam.
Death Slam!
I don't know why I'm just getting a real big kick out of Death Slam. Oh shit, that's what we're calling it from now on. They open up the death slab and there he is. Jesus. Sorry.
No, I enjoyed that so much. That's great.
Death slab.
So after we see Kane's mom, it cuts back to a very close-up shot of Kane, like just his face, and he's giving this creepy smile, and we hear in voiceover Kane say, "I see it." Blackout, roll credits. I gotta say though, but the close-up of his face again with that, and he's trying to give this smile, this grin, but it's so hard to see it, and it doesn't look. It looks almost clown-like it comes because that fucking mask.
It just looks stupid.
It does. It looks like a big dumb oof.
Yeah.
Oof. He's like, "Dirt."
It's not scary.
No.
It's like, poor guy.
Yeah. It's like somebody's like someone's trying to explain to him how like something works. He just can't seem to grasp
Right.
it. And he's like, but
He looks more confused and
yeah.
scary.
And that dumb mask just makes it even worse. Like, it's so bad. So bad. But anyway, the credits roll. That's See No Evil 2. Let's move on to this week's favorite kills.
There can be only one favorite kill.
Aaron, what do you got this week?
Man, I was really disappointed with the kills in this movie. There was just one kill that kind of, I said it throughout the podcast. The first 3 kills were just absolute bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell's going on? Finally picks up and gets a little better, but not nearly the quality of what it was in See No Evil, the first movie.
Oh, 100% agree with you on that.
So much different. So much more violent and fun to watch and great kills. But if I guess I got to pick one of them, it's going to be Tamara getting the fleshing knife through the neck, because you actually see the whole process go through. And that one's kind of in slow motion too. It doesn't cut her head off. It cuts like a giant, almost halfway off. It's cool looking. It's well done. That's my favorite kill.
There's really not much room for argument in this week because they all sucked. That was one of the biggest disappointments with this movie is like the kills were just so bad.
Really
and in the
bad.
first movie, they were, if I remember correctly,
They
pretty
were
good.
really good.
And brutal and vicious.
And it's because Kane had such physicality. I mean, when he grabbed someone, he choked out 2 people in this one, basically. Yeah. But in the other one, he grabbed someone and threw him on, smashed him up into the elevator and smashed him back down.
The brutality in the first one was so great and believable. It's so good. And this one is like, eh.
Tame.
But I'm going to have to agree with you. Tamara as well. It's got to be. I don't really... I mean, one might argue Will with the saw blade come up through it, but I still like Tamara's is the best visual, the best, and she's probably like the best character in the movie too. She's the most fun. So at least she got a good death. All right, so that's really it. It's very disappointing this week. All right, let's move on to odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
All right, ratings. IMDb gives it a 4.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 60% on the thermometer.
I'm sorry, did you say 6-0?
6-0. 60% on the thermometer score, which is insanely high, I thought, for a Rotten Tomatoes review.
And this is not audience score.
No, audience score gave it a 30%.
It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Amazon gives it a 3.3 out of 5.
Must be a lot of wrestling fans out there on Rotten Tomatoes.
Trivia, the only thing I covered was the director came at the beginning, so I'm not going to... So that's it. Plot keywords. Oh, I forgot to do the plot keywords this week. I have my plot keywords, but it's blank, so fuck it.
Dare you.
I'm sorry. I'm sure that's everybody's favorite part of this is the plot keywords.
My favorite part.
Is it really?
No.
I didn't think so.
Unless there's panties.
Yeah, no.
Unless
There's
there's
no
panties.
panties in this movie.
There really aren't.
There are no panties.
No.
There's bra, but no panties. But, yeah. Anyway, so moving on. Brings us to the budget game.
Time for Aaron to blow his wad with the budget game.
All right. Now, the budget game, Aaron, is a little different because we're not doing budget.
Okay.
We're doing total gross sales. between DVD and Blu-ray. How much
Interesting.
How much movie did this make in sales? Because that's the only number to go by. There's no theatrical release.
Yeah. Well, so there was no. You didn't get an actual budget of what it made to make the film.
Nope. This was
So
the only
they
number I
just-
could find was
okay.
what it grossed in sales between DVD and Blu-ray.
Do we have a time frame?
No.
That's the.
But I'm going to say it has to be within at least probably like the first year or so. Or
Yeah.
Because I can't because even if you buy it today, I don't think that gross. Technically, it would be gross sales, but I think there's some kind of time limit.
Well, this is tricky.
Yeah,
This is really tricky.
Yeah, this is gonna be a
again, I
tricky
don't
one.
like DVDs and Blu-rays have different price points as well.
Well, basically,
it's
I say use $20
Yeah,
as
that's what I was
your
gonna
basic
do.
your basic
unit.
yeah.
So let's say around $20 a unit.
Blu-ray might be 25 or
And
something.
man, let's just. I mean, I'm fucking dude. The marketing of WWF, they're just gonna millions and millions and millions of people watch Raw and SmackDown, right?
Yeah, but they didn't market this movie that much. Although
does-
2014, I'm trying to remember if I was really watching wrestling too much at that point.
But still, they're gonna talk about it here and there.
A little bit, but they like the first one they marketed out the ass because that
Yeah,
was
they
in the
did.
theaters, but the second one I don't think if they really hit. It was done by WWE Studios and Lionsgate, I believe,
Yeah.
at least WWE Studios. But they didn't really. I don't remember a whole lot of hype for this one as they did
but
the first one.
still, regardless, people know.
Yeah.
And there's millions and millions and millions of wrestling fans out there. I think on their social media they actually have over a billion people that follow, which is insane.
Yeah.
So let's take that into account.
You want to know why you think? Here's what I also say. I saw a number that showed like the top 10 most valuable sporting events in the world. Number 1 was the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Number 2 was I think the FIFA World Cup finals or something like that. Number 3, WrestleMania.
It's insane.
It's insane. Like if WrestleMania would be out Stanley Cup, World Series, NBA championships, and like some other stuff. No, WrestleMania was number 3 most valued sporting event in the world.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's piggybacking off of that. This guy's a pro wrestler.
Yep.
A world champion. A very popular figure in the world of pro wrestling. Fuck. $100 million.
You think it made $100 million
Nah.
in gross sales? All right,
Yeah.
This may be your biggest overshoot ever.
Man, I really.
You blew the wad all over the place, dude. I'm covered in your wad right now. It's just the walls are dripping in the wad. Total gross sales $1,631,422.
Ooh, that's a big blow.
Yeah.
Man, I
100 million. Jesus.
I put a lot more stock in that. Though.
Yeah, I don't know if any horror movie's done 100 million in gross sales in DVDs. I'm maybe something, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's more, but that puts up that'd be like Avengers category. 100 million. It's revenue. It's like Avengers level.
They mean like over $1 billion.
Yeah, I'm sure, but you're getting up there though.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. So I don't know how the budget. But I'm sure it costs at least that or not more than that to make. So it probably ended up losing money.
What was I thinking?
I don't know what the fuck you were thinking.
I told you earlier I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
So.
I know I paid like $5 for it.
That's why you're like. I love that you're like use $20 as the metric. I paid $5 for mine.
Well, because no, I was about to say I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it.
You set me up, you son of a bitch.
That's true. Because my sale wouldn't have gone towards the gross sales because I didn't buy it new from a store. I bought it from Family Video when they were doing a movie sale. Like it was on the show. I'm like, oh, $5, I'll take it.
boy.
So that doesn't count. But yeah, I got it for $5. So, all right, let's move on to this week's 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
All right, there are 357 total reviews on Amazon. 100 of them were 5 stars, with 55 of them being 1 stars. So
Again, a lot of people watch this movie, man.
Yeah, a lot of people watched it.
Buy it.
From PC Hasser, this could never win an award, but it won my heart. 5 stars. Michael M. Dog Norris writes, See No Evil was awesome, but part 2 was incredible. Jacob Goodnight is the new face of fear. Rest in peace, Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and Leatherface. 5 stars.
Did he say and Michael Myers and Leatherface?
Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of funny.
Jonathan Pock writes, okay, 5 stars. That was cracking me up. Okay. David V. See No Evil Part 2 in Blu-ray. It wonderful. Then it came. The ending was fair. 5 stars.
It's like English is a second language.
In Part 2 in Blu-ray. It wonderful. Then it came. The ending was fair. Huh?
Maybe his third language.
Yeah, maybe his third. But ending was fair. 5 stars. Again, that's a weird way to. And HM. Goodnight makes Jason look like he needs to hit the gym. 5 stars. 1-star reviews. Now these are a little different. From Arlen, right? I don't watch these kinds of films. My partner does. 1 star. It's like,
okay.
Like, why are you even writing?
Why are you reviewing it?
If you don't watch this, why are you reviewing it? Like, fuck you, Arlen. Like,
it's like
that's bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
Don't rip a movie apart because you don't watch it, or give it a 1-star rating because your partner does. Like, what? Fuck you, Arlen.
Like my wife watches Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I don't watch it, but I don't go on Creepy Up with the Kardashians site and be like, you guys suck. Just like, that's what she watches.
From Robert F. DeShino. He chokes everyone in the same hallway. Bad form. 7-foot ballerina massacre. 1 star.
I kind of like that.
From RL. The best that can be said here is that this film reaches for new levels of blatantly padding out the runtime while putting absolutely minimal effort into character or plot. 1 star. And this last one's kind of is longer, but it kind of touched on a lot of points we've talked about. So there we go. From Joey, entitled Fantasy Horror Full of Impossibilities. Full of impossibilities, this is fantasy horror at its best. Granted, it is well produced. However, if you have any brains, don't waste your time. To point out some of the issues, the morgue is huge and only has 3 employees. The killer shuts all the lights off in this huge morgue, a feat that would take an electrician more than 2 seconds, which I don't get down because it's basically contradicting his own point. But anyway, the killer changed up all the extras in record time. There are no emergency lights powered by batteries, which have probably been part of the public building requirements for the last 10,000 years. But there are emergency lights. There are in there. Yeah. There are no emergency fire alarms for the employees to use. The killer pretends to be dead so he doesn't have to go to jail, his mortal wound being some type of impalement in his eye, which seems to penetrate to his brain. I'm guessing you didn't see the first one. The morgue seemingly has no phones, although it's carefully shown that all mobile devices are locked in a small safe while employees work. The devices are never brought up after this display. I suppose we are to presume that all the securing the building and shutting off lights included disabling any and all outside communications. One of the morgue employees is in a wheelchair. Obviously, he's getting killed or will be the surviving hero. And finally, the killer survives being embalmed by the last survivor, only to kill him a few moments by beating him to his own vehicle and hiding in the back seat. How could the killer now know which car was his? I would recommend that the bad dude get a job in building maintenance, as his true skill set appears to lean in that direction. 1 star.
Not bad.
Not bad, but some of his points were wrong. They weren't quite right. But still, there it is. Brings us to our final thoughts on the movie. Aaron, what do you have to say for See No Evil 2?
So disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So disappointed. And I know we've talked about this before. Movies should be, sequels should be made to, either piggyback, to continue the story or be better than the first. And this was a direct, the next day or hours later.
Just hours. The same night. It's Halloween too. It's the same night.
And there's so many things that just did not work, did not fit. One, this guy is a huge mass murderer. He's got dozens of bodies. And he's like, once he passed away, everyone's like, old hat.
Yeah.
No police officers assisting the body, doing investigations, any sort of like looking at the body. No
no detectives,
no reporters, no detectives, no nothing. They're just like, meh.
No, that's a really good point to bring up too. Like, yeah, when that body gets dropped, you would think there'd be reporters at the ambulance wanting to get pictures, or detectives that they want to
examine the body
and keep it secure and make sure. That's a great point. That none of that's there either.
All this stuff. I mean, all this stuff is just all bullshit. Okay. Another thing that really pissed me off, which actually I thought was kind of funny. I did a little investigating myself when there was a moment when the goth girl Tamara comes back. And
I don't think she's goth, but okay.
Well, whatever. She's talking to the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And she says, "Hey, this is blowing up on Twitter." And I'm like, "Ooh, hold on."
Did she say Twitter?
She did say Twitter. Okay. This is blowing up on Twitter. And I go, wait a minute, bitch. I checked it. Twitter was invented in March 21st, 2006. Bullshit. There's no way. It was like just starting. Twitter wasn't really a thing yet. It just...
What do you mean? This was released in 2014.
No.
So Twitter was a thing, and
When did the events take place? 2006. The very first movie was
oh,
made
okay,
in 2006.
Okay. All right, you're right. Okay, so if we're talking,
so this should be.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So if Twitter's even invented
well,
yet,
she was one of the
it's
first users
just
of Twitter.
starting.
Yeah, and it's
It's
blowing
just
up on
starting.
a very young,
I was just like,
infant Twitter.
Yeah,
I'll
I was
see your
just
point
like,
on that
yeah,
one.
I was just like, ooh, that's the bullshit number one. You know, I'm just like, okay, but the guy's is he supernatural?
Apparently, he is now.
Is
Something
that
happened.
what we're supposed to believe? Because if he's supernatural, when did he become supernatural? He doesn't seem to have any sort of like moment when he becomes supernatural. You know, is there a time when he goes from being dead, and they're showing little flicks of life here and there in him, and he doesn't seem to like have that moment either if he's just alive and he's killing again, or if he's supernatural, because he's doing a lot of supernatural.
Well, according to his mother in the first movie, he is the hand of God. That's why, killing the sinners. So maybe that's his supernatural.
I don't know. We've talked about it. We've touched on it. I hate the fact that he can teleport everywhere.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that he can just do all this weird crap. That he's very nimble on his feet when he's hulking in the next. How the fuck did he get into that guy's car? Just like one of the reviewers said. How did you know that was the exact same car? How do you not see a 7-foot, 323-pound man in the back seat of your goddamn Volvo?
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, that's what made well, anyway, did you give it a final?
So bad it's fucking scary, Marshall.
Okay. I'm just waiting for the official. I wasn't sure if you said it, I missed it, or if you just.
I'm sorry. I just started going off on a rant there. I started going off on a path. I did not. I was so disappointed with this movie. It really left a bad taste in my mouth. The first one was fun, lots of good kills. The way he used his body, the kills. I mean, even when he swung an axe, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
This one, not nearly as brutal, gruesome, violent, and intense.
All right.
So bad it's scary.
I agree with you on a lot of things. I was 100% disappointed. The first one, like I said, he was so imposing and so just great and so brutal in the first. I mean, he's slamming people around, he's hooking them on chains and flinging them around and busting through stuff. It's so great. And then they just basically got rid of all of that in this one.
Yes.
Like, he breaks through some walls. I'm like, doors. I'm like, okay, great, but the brutality just wasn't there. And sometimes I wonder, maybe like, was Kane hurt or something during this time? Was he just not able to be as brutal? I don't know, but that was incredibly disappointing. I was also again, the kills were disappointing. I don't know how I feel about if this was just like a standalone sequel. Like if it was like, okay, instead of trying to make it like the same night, like Halloween 2 it, if they just like, okay, Resident Evil 2, 3 years later, Jacob Noah comes back and just do it. Maybe that would have been better. Like, and then try to explain this, because especially that death kill.
Yes.
His kill at the end of the first one is pretty hard to pull back from.
Real hard to say.
Especially like the night of, and say, oh, he's okay. And when you see him die in the ambulance, now he's back. And then also the fact that, okay, between the two deaths, between this one, the first one, and this one, there's going to be a microcosm, a miracle of a chance that some weird way he survives that first kill. But I don't think there's any fucking way anyone's surviving having embalming fluid pushed through their body, all the blood come out, and you're basically what you need to survive and live. Blood is gone, replaced with embalming fluid. Like, that would kill you. There's no coming back from that. But yet he gets back up and he easily, nimbly, somehow gets out of the building and to the car or to the gate.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he was actually in the car or because, like I said, if you see him in the windshield, I don't know if he was like, what? He's still nimble and super fast. I don't know if he beat Seth to the gate. Then Seth got out of the car, and while Seth was walking to the gate, he ninja'd behind Seth to open his car door, and then ninja'd back to the other side of the gate so he could be bumped into. But either way, I don't know. The kills were disappointing, which is the big thing, because I watched one of the special features on the DVD, Blu-ray, and they're talking, it's like called Anatomy of the Kill, and they're talking about how great, all these, they're so proud of these kills, and like, oh, we're doing kills that everyone don't think anybody's ever seen anything like this before, and these kills are going to be so great, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, fuck you. It's like, these kills sucked.
Yeah.
We've seen people get choked a billion times. We've seen people get sliced in the neck a billion times. Okay, the embalming fluid, that's original, I guess. being sawed up through the chest is somewhat fine, whatever.
But that's not original.
But it's not original. Like, there's nothing. They said, but I will say the fleshing knife, that knife thing he uses, that is something they created just for this movie. It's not a real,
shit.
obviously, but they were very proud of that. But even that, I was like, you know what? Get rid of that shit. I would have like been really happy to just have him keep using the damn chain and hook. Give him his he used it once and just got rid of it.
Yeah,
that's a great weapon for Kane.
And he had that in the first one.
And he used it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good. But at the same time, I watch this. I don't know if I can say so bad it's scary or good, because it's not. It's not great.
What are you doing?
But it's not awful either.
What are you doing?
It's kind of like, it's there. I wanted to see more from Kane, though. I expected a lot better. I would love to see Kane. I know he's into politics now. Make a number 3. I would love to see Kane, or become Jason. I want to see Kane in more horror movies doing this. If they could make a third one, fuck this one. Or, do what they're doing now. Just, reboot the storyline. Get rid of number 2 and make a new sequel. I would love to see Kane continue on doing this in this role, because I really enjoy him, and just be as brutal and intimidating as he is. But can I say it's so bad it's scary?
Yes, you can. Son of a bitch. I don't like where you're going.
I mean, Daniel Harris, people are going to like it. It's fine. She's in it. Kane's fine. He's not as great, but he's fine. He's not bad or anything. It's just you could kind of skip it. So I guess by our standards and what we normally go for, even though it's not that bad of a movie as compared to others, I'm gonna have to say, so bad it's scary.
Dude, that's like pulling teeth. I don't understand. Look, I know you're a wrestling guy.
It has nothing to do with
Are you
Kane.
sure?
Yes.
Because this movie sucked.
I was looking at it from all aspects. It has all the components of a modern day horror slash movie. That's all there. It's just not done as good as it should be or others have been. The elements are there. The acting's not bad. The production value is solid. The sound's good. It looks good. It just lets you down. So I can't say it's not like Night of the Demon bad, or it's not like, Dark Walker piss poor bad, but it's just like it left me wanting. But so it's not horrible, but you could skip it. You're not going to miss anything. It doesn't break any new ground. But so I'm saying, I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. There's my final. There we go. So bad it's scary.
We were talking about that embalming fluid.
Yeah.
Just going back to that real quick. He sticks him in the leg.
Yeah.
In the thigh.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Flips the switch.
Yeah.
And it takes a good 2 or 3 seconds before you see the embalming fluid spinning through. Why didn't he just pull it out? Yeah,
there's a lot of things Kane does. He just kind of stands around a lot in this moment. He doesn't attack when he should attack at times, and he could just pull that needle out real quick.
Just could have been like, let me get that out of there.
Yeah, and even when it first starts pumping, you could pull it out right away, and still before it.
Oh yeah, and there's another thing. It's not gonna travel through your bloodstream and pump all that stuff out. It's not gonna do that. It's not gonna work like that. If it gets stabbed in the muscle, it's just gonna fluid and collect and just build in that muscle.
Well, that's what we said about the embalming. He just might be really shitty at his job then, and not knowing what he's doing, because he's just shoving in random body parts and pumping it full of liquid. He's not taking the blood out of their veins and putting it in with a pump. So who knows?
So bad. I saw that. I'm like, no, nerd rage.
All right, Moon Goons, that's it for this week. We gotta get going because we got to get to WrestleMania. So I wish everybody, again, a very happy WrestleMania weekend. Enjoy it if you're watching it. If not, you should watch it. We're gonna be out. We're gonna go watch it. So in the meantime, guys, watch more horror movies and WrestleMania, and remember to always keep it tight.